Hey, Wembog World Entertainment. And if you recall, which I didn't until I saw this article, there is a new Cliffhanger movie coming out. Now, originally it was to be a sequel to the original Stallone movie, and Stallone was meant to be in it. Now, the main structure, from what I understand of this new movie, is still somewhat the same. The idea was that Stallone's character of Cabe and his girlfriend from the first movie, who I think they were meant to be married then in this, get kidnapped, and it's their daughter who basically has to be the Stallone character from the first movie. Stallone then had to drop out of the movie. Now, if I remember correctly, it was something to do with Tulsa King, the scheduling of Tulsa King, that this movie wasn't moving fast enough and the scheduling caught up by the time they had to film, so he had to drop out. Now, it seems to be a full-on remake. That story, however, for a Cliffhanger 2 still seems to be somewhat of the same. It's still a female protagonist who has to rescue a kidnapped couple. And Stallone's character has been replaced. Can't remember what the character's name is, but it'll be played by Pierce Brosnan. Not sure who the other person is, if there is another person, but Pierce Brosnan anyway is the person. I think he's meant to be a rich billionaire or something that gets kidnapped. That'll be his role. The movie has not been released yet. It's nowhere in sight of being released yet. And yet, somehow, some way, for reasons best known to themselves, they've already greenlit a sequel to it. Yeah, don't know how or why you would do that, but let's have a look at this anyway, what it's saying. So, plans are already being made for a sequel to a yet-to-be-released reboot of a beloved Sylvester Stallone movie. One of the biggest action movie stars of all time, Stallone's movies combined have brought in more than $7.5 billion at the worldwide box office. One of the keys to that success has been Stallone's history of creating franchises. Stallone's most notable franchises have been the Rambo, Rocky, and Expendables series. In the case of the Rocky franchise, the commercial and critical success of Creed has led to the series outliving Stallone's involvement in it. Now another franchise that Stallone played a pivotal role in seems to be finding success without him. Several beloved movie remakes or reboots have been produced in the past, including The Thing, The Invisible Man in 2020, Scarface, and The Fly, among others. As a result, there are many movie remakes or reboots that will be released in the coming months, including The Running Man, Highlander, and Frankenstein. In September of 2025, Deadline reported that early development on a sequel to the upcoming Cliffhanger Reboot is already underway. The outlet also reported that talks about the plans for the remake's planned release were taking place in 2025's Toronto International Film Festival, which I think has just happened as well. The upcoming remake of Stallone's 1993 action movie stars Lily James and Pierce Brosnan. Currently in post-production, the remake was directed by, oh my god, how do you pronounce this? Someone. It was directed by someone. I have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce their name. It's like something like Jaume Collet-Serra. I butchered that, I have no idea. The remake's director previously held movies like Orphan, Non-Stop, The Shallows, Jungle Cruise, Black Adam, and The Woman in the Yard, among others. I don't really think any of them were really big hits or well. I think Orphan was. Non-Stop, I'm pretty sure that's the Liam Neeson movie. Was it on a plane or the train? It was one of them two. The Shallows, isn't that the thing with Blake Lively with the shark? Jungle Cruise, that was probably the successful one, even though I don't remember it being all that well received. Of course, Black Adam and The Woman in the Yard, I have no idea what the hell that is, never heard of it. I thought it was going to say The Woman in Black, but it says in the yard, so whatever that is. So according to Deadline's report, it is unclear if Brosnan and James will have any involvement in the plans for the Cliffhanger Remake's possible sequel, there also is no word on whether Stallone will work on the possible sequel to the remake. What is known, however, is that he had no involvement in the production of the remake. Stallone's 93 movie focused on a former mountain rescuer haunted by his worst failure who comes out of retirement to take on a crew of criminals. Produced for $65 million, Stallone's Cliffhanger, which was directed by Rennie Harlin, brought in roughly $255 million at the worldwide box office. It has been revealed that the upcoming Cliffhanger reboot will take place in the mountains just like the original film. Well, it's hardly going to take place in the fucking ocean, is it? Thing's called Cliffhanger, for Christ's sake. As a result, it seems very safe to assume that producing the reboot wasn't cheap for its producers. Rocket Science and Thank You Pictures, never heard of them. Despite that, more money reportedly is being spent on early production of a potential sequel. The fact that we're sitting here hearing about them working on the idea of a Cliffhanger 2 to a movie that's a remake of the original that was originally meant to be a sequel, that is now the full-on reboot, hasn't come out yet, hasn't got a release date yet, and yet they're talking about making a sequel already. How and why would you do that? That makes absolutely zero sense to me. So, you're telling me you have that much confidence in this movie that it's gonna blow people away, even though right now, putting it out with a female protagonist as the hero is the worst possible thing you could do right now, because people have reached their limit with the whole girl boss thing. Just look at Ballerina and stuff like that. I think you're making a colossal mistake. And as you see there, they're saying the original movie cost $65 million to make. This one probably costs upwards of 100 and something million. Don't quite know. They did film it in Europe somewhere, I think, if I remember correctly, which would bring the price down a bit. At least it should, depending what the salaries are and what they plan to do with it and stuff like that. Either way, it's probably going to be a hell of a lot more, as they said there. And if it fails, you already have, going into production, a sequel. I don't understand that. How can you do that? And why would you do that? It makes no sense. And I doubt you'll have Stallone involved. If he's not involved with this one, he's not going to be involved with a sequel. What are they going to do? Watch the first one fail and then go, hey, Stallone, we really need you to help us get this. He'd probably go, no thanks. It's weird. It's bizarre. I cannot wrap my head around it. But there's a movie that's a remake. That was a sequel to start with, but again, now it's a remake, full-on remake. Yet I think, if I remember as well, they still said it was meant to be connected to the world of the original. So it's one of them weird ones. It's like, what do you call these at this stage? It's going to be confusing. We'll have to wait and see if this thing actually gets a release date, or will it end up being dumped on streaming, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but we'll wait and see, and then see what the hell happens with them already working on a sequel. Weird. But let us know what you think of this, but to start with, let me know if you even remembered that we even did stories off this movie. And what do you think of an idea of a sequel already being greenlit for a movie that hasn't even come out yet? That's a reboot sequel attached to possibly the original movie. It's getting confusing the way they do this. But let us know what you think anyway. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And please do like, share, and subscribe, because YouTube has done its update and it always buggers the channels for some reason. So it does help. And cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.